My story begins at dawn on a muggy day 26 years ago at Andro Airport in West Houston. Some of our management team gathered for a visit to 3 crews offshore Louisiana. For some reason, I had decided to take along my video camera that day, and you'll be seeing scenes from that film. I don't like helicopters, but from the takeoff and angle of attack, I guess the pilots are Vietnam War vets, so I relax and take in the early view of West Houston. You may spot some familiar buildings on Westheimer and the tollway, but it looks very different today. Normally when I think of the ocean, it's about skimming over placid water in a tropical paradise with unbelievable underwater scenes and the largest and smallest creatures imaginable. This whale shark is only medium-sized. She's about 25 feet long, and the pygmy seahorses are smaller than a grain of rice. But no matter how enticing, there's always the possibility of danger. Who would ever think of this beautiful vista as home to some of the world's most dangerous currents? And of course, sometimes danger is all too obvious. So I give my first bit of advice: protect the oceans and safety first, always. We finally reached the coast, and we're not far from where Western performed the first Marine Seismic in 1937. You won't find any film of early Marine Seismic, but there is a 1953 Hollywood blockbuster about the early days, Thunder Bay, starring Jimmy Stewart.
First chance.
Don't do it, Dad.
But why not?
You're going to cause trouble.
The trouble is only in her head. I take a chance for $50 a day.
I didn't come here to argue. It's a deal, Tesh.
You got a good boat, and Philippe here, a good crew. Come on, I'll buy you a drink. Hey, Louis! 3 on the cup.
Start him up again, Louis! Everybody drink! Hey, did you get married yet?
Hey, lay off.
It was only a joke.
Morning.
How do you like this? Despouche, the oil baron. What are those things?
A geophone.
They're worth a small fortune, so take good care of them.
Sure, like babies. How do you find oil with them?
Now, they record the vibrations from the bottom of the Gulf. You just keep listening to the radio. I'll let you know what's going on. Get your boat started and follow us out, huh? All right, let it go. Pack 1 to Big Bosier. You have your geophone strung out?
I string them out prettier than pearls.
Yeah? Okay, that's fine. Mac 1 to Mac 2. Mac 2. We just marked our last location. How are you set now? You ready to drop your charges? Yeah? All right, you go ahead anytime. Okay. Drop 1. There you go.
Mamma mia, the shrimp beds. The shrimp beds! The shrimp beds! They hear about this in Port Felicity. You'll be lucky to get out of here alive.
Come on, pull up this thing. Pull up the bow here. We'll pick up this gear.
You'll pick it up, all right. Oh, you want to play rough with Tesh Boucher, huh? All right.
Drop it!
Go fish your friend out.
Charlie! How much of a job is there to fix this?
That's a pretty mean job.
All right, let's get all this equipment on our boats. Go to work.
Looks like you blew up some of that goodwill I was spreading last night.
Yeah, maybe all of it.
So now you know how to start up and run a marine crew in the 1940s. By the way, Jimmy runs out of money, gets the girl, strikes oil, and even finds the oil rig is good for the shrimp. It was the 1950s. Times were different then, but everybody knew a non-explosive source was needed. Maybe the air gun was the biggest revolution in marine seismic. We've continued to engineer sources for less environmental impact. Recently, the E-source was introduced, which removes frequencies harmful to marine animals. But on the receiver side, our node crew looked pretty much like, well, the 1940s. We were still chunking the nodes off a small boat. For cable systems, there was some improvement in equipment handling, but it was still very manually intensive. The cables are fed through a squirter, and the operator holds it in place until he reaches the station, and then lets it go. Of course, the last decade or so has seen a revolution in nodes. Handling systems have been automated, and for Deepwater, ROVs are used to place the nodes. It's fair to say that today, nodes with their bottom reference capabilities are the gold standard for seismic acquisition. By the way, I highly recommend, if you're planning a crew visit, try to make lunch in South Louisiana. In comparison with the ocean bottom crews, the streamer operation was sleek and modern. But in retrospect, there was a certain complacency. Until the mid-90s, the focus was on technical specs and bulletproofing the operations. We thought if we could just put out more cables and tow wider, we'd be fine. But of course, in our business, when you get complacent, usually a revolution is on the way. But before we go there, let's give a nod to the biggest revolution in marine seismic, the multi-client survey. In 1995, the first commercial subsalt well was announced in the Gulf of Mexico. Marine seismic changed forever. Researchers thought they had the algorithms to solve the problem, but no company could do it alone. We formed consortia to study and model the problem, but we found it was not just the algorithms. The acquisition had to change. We needed a wider aperture, longer offsets, and better sampling in all domains. Modeling and real data showed that the higher the sampling quality, the higher the quality of information. We built a new generation of seismic vessels with astounding capabilities. Maybe we got complacent again. Marine was just recovering from the shale revolution when we were hit by the worldwide pandemic. Now marine seismic has responded yet again with reductions, mergers, and new asset-light business models. So, what is the end of the story? The truth is, no one knows. But one thing I do know is, it's not here, and it's not now. I believe we will emerge from the pandemic stronger and with a higher energy demand. Yes, there is a sunset in our future, but I don't think it's now.